Yo, what is going on? Welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now. Chase Sr. here with you. Really appreciate all of the real ones for hanging out here with me. Coming up, another loaded show. Howie Roseman may have pulled off highway robbery again with the trade that Philadelphia made last night with the Las Vegas Raiders. Also coming up here on the show, another Eagles training camp reaction as the Birds just got off the practice field in South Philadelphia at the NovaCare Complex, and we have a lot of developments from that practice session here today. In case you missed the news last night, Philadelphia Eagles making a big trade here with the Las Vegas Raiders, and I think that the move with when Philadelphia made it is pretty telling. They really like the player who they are bringing in, and they want an extended look at Jakorian Bennett, a former fourth-round pick out of Maryland by the Las Vegas Raiders, who earned a starting job as a rookie a couple of years ago. And so the Eagles bring him in, and then they send out Thomas Booker IV, a defensive tackle who's a really good depth piece, who really came onto the scene last year for Philadelphia. He had a really good training camp. He shined in the preseason, but here's the deal. He was behind multiple players on this Eagles depth chart, and the player who the Eagles are bringing in, he could be a starter under Vic Fangio here in 2025. Of course, as we always do, I broke the news down last night with the breaking news show right here on Eagles Now. That's why you hit that subscribe button, because whenever there's a big development, whenever there's breaking news, I always have you covered. And if you want to see my instant reaction video, it's up on the channel. We did that last night, just moments after that trade was made official. So you want to know why we talk about trade rumors, trade buzz, and trade ideas here on the show? It's this man here to my right, General Manager Howie Roseman, one of the most aggressive GMs in all of football, and he is always looking for ways to improve his football team. And look, I always keep an eye on the comment section here, and that's why I give you a lot of thumbs up, and I hit that heart icon, because I appreciate everybody for commenting, watching, supporting the show, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. But I've seen so many viewers over time saying, Chase, stop talking about trades. This is ridiculous. It's clickbait. It's never going to happen. But you know why we talk about trades? Because of Howie Roseman's track record and his resume calling the shots for this Eagles organization. Look at all of these Howie Roseman August trades. These are trades that have happened just in August alone, just going back to 2021. Acquired Gardner Minshew in 2021. Traded Matt Pryor. In 2022, traded J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. What a stiff. In 2022, when the Eagles traded for J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, they traded for Ugo Amadi, the cornerback. Then Howie Roseman traded him away right before the season. Eagles needed a safety in 2022. They acquired C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Also, in August of that year, Philadelphia traded away Jaylen Herz. They said, you know what? We used a first-round pick on him. It was a mistake. Let's get him out of here. It's not good for the culture. In 2023, Philadelphia traded for tight end Albert Okwuegbunam. In 2024, right before the year last year, Philadelphia traded for a wide receiver 3 in Jahan Dotson, who's had a really good spring and summer. And here in 2025, the Eagles last night making the move for Jakorian Bennett. And this is what Howie Roseman does. If he sees that value is on the table, if he sees that a good player is available, who the Eagles really liked in the pre-draft process not long ago, if he likes a player via trade, in free agency, in the draft, he is going to do whatever it takes to get his guy. Jeffrey Lurie has given him that leeway. Howie Roseman has earned that. Nick Sirianni loves being a part of it because Howie puts together a really good team, and Howie Roseman continues to fleece teams all across the NFL. And you look at some of the marquee people who cover this sport, big talking heads who are on radio, who have YouTube channels, who are on TV. The consensus last night, why would the Raiders make this trade with Howie? Because Howie did it again. And this trade is interesting with when it happened on the calendar. Tuesday, August 4th, as we record or Monday, August 4th, as I record this show on Tuesday, August 5th. Because the Eagles clearly here want to give Jakorian Bennett a long look. They have a month to go until the start of the regular season. Last night, directly a month until that season opener against the Dallas Cowboys at Lincoln Financial Field. when Philadelphia will hoist that second Super Bowl banner right in front of Jerry Jones and the delusional Cowboys. And so now Bennett is going to have a lot of practice time, maybe a couple of preseason games to try to show this coaching staff that he is capable of starting for this team. And if not, the Eagles have good players in place in Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson. And so you get a potential starter here. If he's not a starter, it adds depth to a position where you could use some depth. And you also have the likes of Eli Ricks in the equation. And so optionality is also something, to use the Sam Hinkie term, that Howie Roseman is all about here. And the Eagles really like this player in the pre-draft process going into the 2023 draft. Of note, Bennett went one pick before Keely Ringo in 2023. And then what did the Eagles do? They moved up to take Keely Ringo. So clearly their thinking was they wanted a corner in that spot. And with Bennett off the board, they moved up for Ringo. That tells me they like Bennett in the pre-draft. Nick Sirianni said as much today. And there's a lot to like about the player. He ran a 4.3 40-yard dash in the pre-draft process. His relative athletic score just under a 9.6. His testing numbers were really good. And I think it's very notable that as a fourth-round pick, he was one of the most impressive rookies of that draft class in training camp that year as he earned a starting job as a rookie. You don't believe me? Numbers back it up. Bennett among cornerbacks with 450-plus snaps, 18 catches allowed, that ranked third, 37 targets, that was tied for 10th, 176 yards allowed, that was second, no touchdowns given up, tied for first, 9 pass breakups, tied for fourth, a QBR when targeted of 62.4, that ranked sixth. And when he went up against the likes of Jamar Chase, he gave up 3 catches for 16 yards, no touchdowns, and he had a pass breakup. He's also had those numbers from last year, but so far in his career, 11 PBUs in 11 starts in 24 games. Injuries are a little bit of a concern. Had a hamstring issue as a rookie. He's had shoulder problems each of the last 2 years. But this is an Eagles medical staff and training staff that has kept this team very healthy since Nick Sirianni came here. Every single starter from week 1 started in Super Bowl 57, and 21 of 22 starters started against the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59. And so the Eagles are trusting their coaching staff to develop the player, their player developmental program to bring the best out of Jakorian Bennett, and their medical staff to get this player right. This is a classic Howie Roseman trade. You trade Thomas Booker, a player who you like, but you're deep at defensive tackle. He was behind Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Moro Jomo for a high upside guy. And the Eagles got what they wanted out of Thomas Booker. He was drafted in the 5th round out of Stanford back in, I believe, the 2022 NFL draft. He doesn't last long with the Houston Texans after they drafted him, but then he comes to Philadelphia. He's with the team 2023, 2024. He was one of the stars of training camp last year, and when he got snaps, it wasn't a lot last year, but when he got snaps in the regular season, I thought he fared well. And with everything that's happened with Christian Wilkins and the Las Vegas Raiders, a little bit of a panic move, right? They needed a defensive tackle, and they give up a starting caliber corner for a defensive tackle in Thomas Booker, who is a little bit lighter, has an explosive get-up. I think he's a good player, but he's more of a rotational guy. And as part of this, too, the Eagles last year had the number 1 defense in all of football. But going into 2025, not only are they one of the youngest defenses in the sport, per over the cap, they are the cheapest defense in the National Football League. I like Thomas Booker. I hope that he does well with the Raiders, and with more playing time, he gets a great opportunity to really prove himself. But you make this trade all day, every day. And another trade note here, Howie has traded for a player on their rookie deal 5 straight years. That's another thing with this move. You're bringing in Jakorian Bennett as a former 4th-round pick who is affordable. He's a cost-controlled asset, and you have him under team control for the next 2 years. Bennett might not fit Pete Carroll's defense, But I just don't get the thinking here by the Raiders giving up on a young player like this. That's certainly a choice. And Howie said, you want to do this deal? Yeah, let's do this deal. Let's run with it. And I'm telling you right now, Jakorian Bennett is going to have an opportunity to compete with Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson to start opposite of Quinyon Mitchell. A lot more to get to here on the show, but first, a programming reminder. Watch parties are back. Myself and producer Chip will be live for Eagles-Bengals, the preseason opener happening on Thursday night. Kickoff is set for 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We're either going to do a 30-minute pregame show or an hour pregame show, live play-by-play, audience interaction, super chat giveaways. We'll do a pregame show for sure. Definitely going to do a postgame show to recap everything. And we just got news from Zack Taylor, the Bengals head coach, that the Bengals are going to play their starters for multiple series. Can't wait for it. Be sure to join us. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell icon. Turn on your noties. Therefore, anytime we push out a show like this, anytime we go live, you will be notified. Also coming up here on the show, just around the corner, another training camp reaction. Past two practices have been very intense. Today, a lighter day, but Jaylen Herz had another really strong showing. Before we get to that, in the city of Philadelphia, we are blue-collar people. We are a take your lunch pail to work type of crew. We like to get after it. We work hard. We play hard. We get it out the mud. And a lot of you who watch this show, I look at the analytics and the demographics. You work in the trades. Well, if you want work boots that are comfortable, durable, look good, and feel good, get your boots from Brunt. They are fantastic. And if you use the code CHAT, you get $10 off your order when you go to bruntworkwear.com/chat. You don't want to miss out on this deal. And I'm going to put this link down below in the comment section, in the show notes, and attached to the pinned comment of today's Philadelphia Eagles. Now, join over 500,000 other happy customers with these Brunt work boots. I personally have the best-selling Marin work boots, not only built for the toughest job sites, they're completely waterproof. Whether it's rain, mud, or standing water, your feet stay dry. Long days don't need to become longer, and hard days don't need to become harder with boots that are uncomfortable. So that's why you got to get the Brunt work boots today. Brunt, not just about work boots, though. They offer a full range of high-performance gear built for tough jobs, from heavy-duty work pants to weather-resistant jackets. Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. Outside of talking about football, I love doing woodwork. I love doing hard jobs. When I was growing up, my favorite job outside of broadcasting, working on a golf course, I wish I had these boots then because they would have made my days a lot easier. Choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. Brunt thought that was BS. They built tough boots that feel great from day one. No break-in, no sore feet, because people out there doing the real work shouldn't have to choose between comfort and durability. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. We work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. So they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. Limited time, our listeners, our viewers get $10 off at Brunt when you use our code CHAT at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com/chat. Use that code CHAT. You're good to go. After you make your order, they'll ask you where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor. Tell them that Chase Senior, Eagles Now, and Chat Sports sent you. Training camp reaction video. Let's get to it. Eagles injury news. These players not practicing today. Zack back. A.J. Brown hamstring. Montrell Johnson hamstring. Byron Young groin. These following players limited. Lewis Seen hamstring. Charlie Hewlett neck. Trevor Keegan back. Terrace Marshall with that knee. Other players limited as well. Mac McWilliams with the quad. Andrew Makuba shoulder. Matt Pryor shoulder. Compared to other teams across the NFL, knock on wood, the Eagles are lucky to be where they're at with their injuries. Nothing really that severe yet. A lot of teams across the NFL are banged up at this juncture of training camp. And for Zack and A.J. Brown, obviously two of the best players on this Eagles team. Bond, a first-team All-Pro last year, finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. A.J. Brown, a second-team All-Pro. What a good sign is that they're not having to do hard arduous rehab. They're on hand. They're in good spirits. They're jogging onto the practice field. They're keeping it light. If they were having to be on the side and do hard rehab processes, that would tell me that those injuries are believed to be serious. But so far, so good on that front. Veteran maintenance days plus nursing these injuries, you don't want to get them worse than they already are. Andrew Makuba today, the rookie second-round pick. He was the first player out on the practice field after he missed a few practices last week. And he had a nice pass breakup on a pass intended from Tanner McKee to Kylan Granson. A really good play from the Eagles' second-round pick. Keely Ringo in that competition with the Dory Jackson and now Jakorian Bennett had a nice pass breakup, but he dropped the pass from Jaylen Herz. It probably would have been a pick six. He showed his frustrations, and he probably knows he's still fighting for that starting role. And it was probably a head turner for him that Howie Roseman made that trade last night, because it doesn't show the biggest vote of confidence in either Adoree or Keely with the Eagles bringing in Jakorian Bennett. Jahan Dotson had that good spring, worked with Jaylen Herz this offseason down in Houston because he was working alongside Parker Washington, another Penn State wide receiver, and he has transitioned from a strong spring into having a really good training camp. In particular, this week, he has had a strong week. He beat Cooper DeJean for a touchdown on a crosser. Not easy to beat one of the top slot corners in the NFL, and that's iron sharpening iron right there. Cooper DeJean did come back to pick off Jaylen Herz, and that was DeJean's first interception of training camp. Every single day, seemingly, that we do these training camp reaction videos, by the way, we're talking about a Moro Jomo sack. He had another daily sack today. He continues to have a stellar camp. He continues to dominate. Landon Dickerson said that he's having a great camp, and he's really had some good one-on-one battles with Landon Dickerson. And I continue to say, I think Moro Jomo is not just going to replace Milton Williams. He has the potential to be better. UDFA Darius Cooper, the wide receiver, continues to make a case to make the team. He has been making plays all throughout training camp. He runs in the 4.4s. He is built and cut up like A.J. Brown. And I think the Eagles may have found a gem as an undrafted free agent at that wide receiver spot, who last year had nearly 1,500 receiving yards and was one of the top wide receivers in FCS. FCS. Elijah Cooks, he crossed up Eli Ricks on a filthy route and then took it to the crib, picking up some yards after the catch to score another touchdown. Elijah Cooks is a player who has been the fourth best Eagles wide receiver this camp behind A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jahan Dotson. How do you not keep him on this team? I think that Elijah Cooks should make it over the likes of Anaya Smith and Johnny Wilson. They haven't done much all throughout the summer. Elijah Cooks, every single practice, has been bringing it. And today, another highlight reel-worthy play. You love to see Jason Kelce working with some of these young Eagles offensive linemen. Here he is working with Holland Pierce, the UDFA out of Rutgers. What better player to learn from than Jason Kelce, who has been on hand for multiple Eagles training camp practices. He's almost like an assistant coach alongside Jeff Stoutland. Speaking of Jason Kelce, Cam Jurgens has the Jason Kelce outfit down pat. There he is with the cutoff, showing off the gut. He learned from the best. Really, the big story coming out of training camp today was the play of Jaylen Herz. Now, you might look at the attempts and completions. He was 12 of 20, but he threw 5 touchdowns, 1 pick, probably should have been 2 from Elliott Shore Parks. That earned a B-plus grade for Jaylen Herz. Made some big throws, made some nice throws, made some really nice plays in critical areas on some of these money downs and in the red zone. And it was a lighter day, but it was a day where the Eagles offense was working intently on trying to get the ball into the paint. And Hertz did a great job of that. He has strung together a couple of really nice practices after he had cooled off a little bit. You love to see that from the Super Bowl MVP. Be sure to give me a follow on X and Instagram at Chase_Senior. I'm always talking Eagles here. I'm always talking about the Birds over there as well.